and welcome to our QPR Preview Show. With the end of season in sight now, but it's really squeaky bum time for QPR. The 3-0 defeat at Hull dropped QPR 3 places, and we're now only 3 points above the bottom three again. After the back-to-back wins at Easter, we all thought one win was going to be enough to survive, and maybe that's still the case. But 3 games have come and gone since then now, and we've only got 3 games left to try and get over the line, starting with Saturday night's televised home match against Preston. That match will come on the back of our worst result for many months, certainly the worst result since Marty Cifuentes took over. Have alarm bells been ringing for you this week, Dave?
Yeah, a little bit. I think for me, after Sheffield Wednesday, I did think it's only going to take one bad weekend where all the others won and we lost, and we were going to be right back in it. And unfortunately, that happened last week. We went up to Hull and the game was over within 20 minutes, to be honest. You have to give credit to Hull. I thought they were fantastic on the day. They beat us comfortably. And the difference was you saw our number 10s, for want of a better phrase, very abject, didn't really do much. And theirs were just all over us. They were pressing us high. They were really creative. They created chances. They scored goals. And that was the major difference between the teams. Just seeing the difference between Chair Willock and their guys like Carvalho and that. They were so much better. And to be honest, getting away with 3-0 wasn't that bad in the end, because that could have been 5 or 6, the amount of chances they had. And the goal difference could be a big factor. But yeah, it's a bad time of the season to have that sort of result, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I thought we were lucky it was only 2-0 at half time. But I have to say, I thought we were worse performance-wise in some other games, like Millwall away, Stoke away. I agree with you. I just thought Hull were way miles better than us. They were fantastic. They should probably be higher than where they are when you see how they can play like that. It's the first time we've conceded more than 2 in a league game under Marty Cifuentes. First time I feel probably since he took over that a game felt over at half time. But could he have been braver and maybe changed more at half time to swing the game back in our favour?
Possibly, but I thought his changes did, but we were better second half. I thought Cannon did well when he come on. Smith made a difference. If he could finish, he'd be a hell of a player, wouldn't he? He almost scored within the first minute. He should have scored another one around the keeper, and he created things and he made things sort of happen. Who knows? Things might have been different if we got back to 2-1, but I think he probably went along with what you were saying, that the game was done at half time. I couldn't really see a way back, and it was damage limitations really. Dunn was having a poor game, and so was Anderson, and there wasn't really much else he could change, I don't think, really.
Yeah. Apart from maybe changing the formation to maybe unsettle Hull, but that could have gone the other way and we ended up all over the place and lose 4-5-0, and that would have done way more harm than good. Like I say, we just have to probably compliment Hull. They were a great side, probably one of the best sides I feel like we've played all season. They really put in a good performance, and we have to probably be grateful, like you said at the start, that it was only 3-0. Let's focus in on the relegation battle before we move on to Preston. We highlighted in last week's show, and you said it at the start, that other teams had winnable matches. QPR were the only one side of the 8 that are battling it out to avoid the drop who lost. It was a dreadful set of results, but it could have actually been worse. It's safe to say we owe Nahki Wells one.
Yeah, and the referee as well, because that was never a penalty in a million years that Bristol City got in that game. It was a terrible set of results, but you are going to get weekends where all the bottom teams win. We've been lucky in other weeks. We got last midweek they all lost, and we was on the right side of it, but we just got to concentrate on ourselves, really. So we've still got it in our own hands, but it would be nice if they did drop points at the weekend, to kind of ease the pressure a little bit. But it wasn't a great weekend for us result-wise, was it?
No. That was a huge moment, that Huddersfield penalty that got given against them. And that's one they'll certainly be looking back on if they don't survive, because I agree with you, never a penalty in a million years. I've seen lots of good comments this week as well about Nahki Wells saying it's his most important goal he scored for QPR and that he's still our best striker, even though he's not played with us for a few years. And what his goal meant, though, was that Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday probably need 4 points out of 9 to get past QPR due to our goal difference. So if we beat Preston, it probably should be enough. Still easier said than done, as the last 3 matches have proved. Do you still think one win's going to be enough from here?
I hope so. I'm getting more nervous that we might need more, but I think this weekend's a real key one. You look at some of the games. Again, they've got winnable games around us. You look at Huddersfield have got Swansea in their home. you know, you got to look to win that if you're Huddersfield. Birmingham go to Rotherham, even though they've got a new manager. You know, Sheffield Wednesday got Blackburn. Could have been Blackburn doing us a favour there. We could do with them dropping points this week, and then if we win, we're fine. But I've got a horrible feeling it's going to the last game, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, please no, please no. I think 1 probably will be enough for us. I mean, it might still go to the last day, but if we win, it means Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday, with the goal difference, probably need to get 7 points from 9. I mean, it's not impossible to do that, but it's pretty unlikely, as it's pretty unlikely that QPR lose all remaining 3 games. But we certainly need a better performance, don't we, against Preston than what we got against Hull. Let's move on to Preston in that respect. In the head-to-head, oddly, there's only been 1 draw in the last 15 meetings between the sides. That's going back to 2016. That was Anthony Gordon's infamous birthday live on Sky that I'm sure you'll all remember during lockdown. The last 3 meetings have all been won by the away side, with the home side failing to score. We need to hope that trend is stopping right away on Saturday. In terms of Preston's season, we hoped they'd lose both games this week, and they did. It means their season is over. They've also had a long midweek trip down to Southampton before a trip to London. There can be no excuses for QPR if we don't win this, surely.
No, it's a tough game. Preston are a good side, good championship side, but this is a game you've got to look to win. That Preston have nothing really to play for other than pride. You know, at the weekend there's a lot of pressure on us, but it's all on us. You look at our last 3 games. This is the one you have to win, really. You know, you don't want to be going and needing to beat Leeds next week, because that doesn't look easy. And then going away to Coventry the last game, all the pressure. They've got to get something in this one. There's no excuses, really. They've got to turn this home form around, because the home form has been poor all season again, really. I know we beat Birmingham recently, but it's not been good enough to home form. And we really need to turn up and perform on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know it always doesn't pan out as expected, but Preston to me are that type of team you'd probably now want to pick to play. They also only had 1 shot against Southampton, so they should be feeling maybe a bit deflated as well. For the season as a whole, though, Preston have been punching above the weight when you look at their budget. They don't even really do anything spectacular. They've actually conceded more than QPR. I think it shows where QPR could easily be if we stay up and start getting a few things right, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've done well this season. They've been top half most of the season. They were in the playoffs for quite a while, and they had a really good start. But you look at them on paper, I don't think they're like massively a better side than us. So you think it is achievable to have a decent season. We just need to get over the line and make sure we stay up, really, and then we could have better times ahead. But you know, they've done well. It's pleasing that they've got nothing to play for. So you think that's probably the game you want, but I do look at them and think that they're not a bad side, and that's going to be a difficult game, really.
No, definitely. They're not going to just lie down, but we haven't, like I said, we have no excuses. We have to get something in this for the reasons you just said. You don't want to be going into the last 2 games needing results. At least with this one, they've got a bit of backup with the other games, so should be able to play with a bit more freedom. Finally, on Preston, why does Sky keep choosing this fixture? They showed the reverse fixture too. Why?
I don't know. I don't really understand why this one is on the TV. When you look at the games of the weekend, you look at the top of the division, and there's 4 teams could go up in them 2 places, and they're showing this. It's like, okay. I mean, this could have been a dead rubber if we'd beaten Plymouth last week. So it does seem, well, I don't know why they keep picking us. And it's not normally a classic, is it? It's normally a pretty dreadful game. So hopefully it's a good one for us this week.
Yeah, it's probably one of the least appealing fixtures of the season for both Preston and QPR fans. So I don't know what Sky are always thinking. Maybe the one positive is that the lesser seen 5:15 kickoff on a Saturday night could make it a cracking atmosphere at Loftus Road if things go our way. Let's focus in on QPR. And there's been a funny stat. I suppose it's not really a funny stat, but it's been going around that since the start of last season, Seny Dieng has scored as many away goals for QPR as Lyndon Dykes. He was poor again against Hull. Do you think if Michael Frey is fit enough even for like 60 minutes, you think he'll start?
I think he has to, really. You just don't know what you're going to get from Dykes. I thought he did well at Plymouth, but he was poor again at Hull. His hold-up play was non-existent, really. And when he did, a few times he got the ball wide, his crosses were awful. He was just toe punting them in towards like 6 foot over Chair's head. It's like, what are you doing? I think if Frey's fit, he will start. But you look at all 3 options, really, they've all got faults with them, and none of them are perfect. There's no obvious choice, really. you just hope whoever starts can get on the score sheet, because they really need the one of their forward players to score at the weekend. Even the guys behind them, like Anderson hasn't scored yet. Willock and Chair haven't scored for quite a long time. You need someone to step up at the weekend.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a monkey on the club's back. If someone needs to get rid of that idea now, and lots of suggestions I've seen this week to play Willock up front, maybe even go with like a false nine just to do something different to try and get goals. Would you consider something like that yourself if you were in charge?
I don't think I'd do anything that different. For a game that you have to win, I think he'll go with as close to his strongest team as possible, close to that team played against West Brom. So I would have thought it'd be Frey up front. It'll probably be Willock, Chair, and Anderson behind. He'll just go with the players he trusts the most. I don't think he's going to be trying to change things for this one. I think it's too much of a risk, and I don't think Willock's looks like scoring either. So, but even him playing up front, I'm not convinced that would make a massive difference.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. It's just something I've seen on the forums this week. I personally can't see him making such a big, risky change for such a big game. But QPR have only scored 4 goals now in 7 games, and we weren't scoring much before that. So this really, really dry patch, even by our standards. And if it doesn't improve, we're going to go down. Yeah. You just mentioned the attacking trio, but Chair, he looked tired. Maybe a week off will help him. Paul Smith, I know he keeps missing big chances, but he's been our biggest threat in the last 2 games. Do you think he's just going to be back on the bench, though?
I think he will. I'd like to see him start. I know he missed those chances, and he really needs to start taking these chances. They weren't difficult ones at Hull or Plymouth, but I'd probably start him. He looks the liveliest of them. But I think Cifuentes will go with Willock. He seems to trust him, and one big performance from Willock and we'll probably be all right. And I think that's what Cifuentes will go with.
Yeah, I agree. I personally would probably start Smith because, like I say, he has been our biggest threat, but I don't think that's what the manager's going to go with. Joe Hodge, as well, as someone who's not been getting a mention recently, and he's only been on the losing side once when he's played. Perhaps surprising we're not seeing more of him, but I don't think the manager really knows where to use him. So in midfield, you've got to assume it's going to be from the usual 3 of Colback, Field, Hayden. Jack Colback is fit again. Do you think he's going to start if he's fit enough to?
I think it's a flip of the coin between him and Hayden, really. I think Field will start. Mainly, Field's been playing well, and he has been offering a bit of a threat going forward compared to the others. But so I think it'll be one of them two. I think it depends on fitness with Hayden. He seems to have struggled the last few games, like towards the end of it. And but I think if he's fully fit, he'll start Hayden. Then maybe Colback off the bench second half.
Yeah, personally, I actually think he might go with Colback and Hayden. That's a bit unfair on Sam Field, but that's what I suspect he may do. Did Reggie Cannon do enough to usurp Jimmy Dunn for you?
He played well when he came on. I thought he looked good, but I'd stick with Dunn again. Dunn's been really. I mean, he had a poor game last week, but he wasn't alone in that. But I think what he does offer is he offers an out ball for Begovic. When Begovic is panicking on the ball, he can knock it long wide, and you've got someone to try and win it on the halfway line and then play off that. It's a bit direct and not the prettiest play, but I think it does work for us. So I think he'll probably start. I don't think he'll be jettisoned after one bad game.
No, I agree. Other players were just as bad as him. And I think one of the key things is if you look at our recent goals, it's been either Jimmy Dunn pinging it in from 25 yards or knocking it down from the back post. If you take him out of the equation, are we actually going to have much of a threat? So I think he'll stick with Dunn. On the other side, Morgan Fox seems to be flavour of the month for Marty Cifuentes. Can you see him playing again?
Yeah, it's a difficult one what he'll do there. He does seem to like Fox recently, doesn't he? I mean, I'd go with Powell, mainly because I think he's been good all season. He's been strong in that position all season. I think he links up well with Chair, but he does seem to like Fox. And maybe Preston are quite a physical team. Maybe he'll go with the 4 centre halves thing again that he did at Swansea. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I just think our better performances have come when it's been Dunn, Cook, Jake Clark, Salter, and Powell. Before we finish, I wanted to bring up kicking towards the loft because obviously it's our first home match since Sheffield Wednesday switched it around. And credit club historian Chris Guy because he bothered to check back, and it had been over 2 years since the team had made us kick towards the loft in the first half. If Preston have done their research, they're going to do the same, aren't they? Because as much as it shouldn't make a difference, it really seemed to unsettle us in that last home game.
I'm surprised more teams don't do that, to be honest. at all grounds. They don't seem to do it. It probably would unsettle us. It shouldn't make a difference, but it definitely did in that Sheffield Wednesday game. The atmosphere was flat in the first half, and then it just never really got going again in the second. I think it might be different. I think with the later kickoff this week, people have had a few more drinks, I imagine, before the game. I think the atmosphere will be it's a massive game. Everyone knows it's a must win, really. So I think it'll be a strong atmosphere whichever way around we go where it's back in at the weekend.
Yeah, at least this time it can't catch us off guard, maybe as it did
Mm.
last time. But as you said before, our home record remains the worst in the league, bar Rotherham, 21 points in 21 games. So I don't actually think it matters which way we kick, to be honest. We're not very good at home. Funnily enough, that Blackpool match was the last QPR game that we won with Gavin Ward as ref. That Blackpool match, by the way, was the one when the last match before, when we got kicked around the other way. We've lost 5 times in a row with Gavin Ward in charge since. We never like to go in hard on refs because it's a thankless task, but it feels like we've drawn a bit of a short straw for this game with him in charge.
Yeah, possibly. We don't have a great record with him, do we? And of the standards of the refs in the Championship, he's not the best, really. As long as we can avoid Keith Stroud in the last 3 games, I'll be quite happy.
Yeah, I always recognise him as a referee because he likes to gesticulate a lot, and his signature move is to usually run up to the goalkeeper and give him a big telling off for time wasting, but it's usually in about the 96th minute. And Preston, obviously, the master of the dark arts. So I do worry about him being in charge of this one. After all of that discussion, what's your prediction for Preston?
Well, I think we've done reasonably well in the recent big home games, like Birmingham one, the Rotherham one spring to mind. So I think we'll just about get over the line. I think it'll be close, maybe 2-1 again. I'm not saying that with much confidence, but I'll go with a win.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a win just because I want it over and done with, to be honest. It really is the match, as we've discussed, that we need to attack, get the 3 points and draw a line under things, hopefully. I think we're due a better performance as well. I'm going 2-1 QPR, but it is a little bit more of hope than expectation. We'll be back next week to preview the penultimate game of the season. Feels like it's come around very quickly against promotion chasing Leeds. That's next Friday night, and all we can hope is we've given ourselves some breathing space ahead of that one. Until then, thank you for watching, and come on, you R's.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.